Hey, in the following video, you will see what webhooks are, how you can use those within Smartlead, and how those can actually be used to kickstart your automations. And also keep in mind, if you are an advanced user and already have webhooks installed, you might stick around because there are a couple of key concepts here that are really useful, even if you are an advanced user. So let's dive right in here. So what we will cover here are basically four things: what webhooks are, how they work in Smartlead, what is the actual structure of a webhook, and then we will see how to actually set up a webhook within Smartlead. So in regards to what webhooks are an automatic messages that are sent from one system to another when something specific happens. So the examples that I have over here is that an event happens and then a message is sent. So examples here are when a dish is ready, the cook calls the waiter to serve the dish. When a package is delivered, you receive a notification for your phone. This is what happens with Amazon, for example. Or in Smartlead, an example here could be when you receive an email reply, you get a Slack notification. So those are all different instances of event that happens, messages sent. Those things are sent in real time. So they are sent the moment they happen, and those are used to connect different kinds of systems, such as Slack or Smartlead, for example. And those are core aspects of the automation and different tasks of the automation itself. How do they actually work within Smartlead is in the following ways. First off, we have multiple types of webhooks depending on the different event. So event happens, as I mentioned, there's a different list of events over here. Such as email sent when an email is sent, email open when an email is open, and those are pretty much straightforward. So you can also get a full understanding, a full list over here. So this is the guide that the Smartlead has. It's a Notion part. In here, there's a full guide with all the different webhooks present along with the different structure. But we will see the structure in a moment here. So in regards to what gets sent for with every single webhook, what is the actual message? The message is called Payload, and in the Payload we have all the different information related to a specific event. So let's say we have an email reply webhook, for example. Here we have an email reply webhook, and the payload is the following. Inside here, we will have two different fields. And don't be scared about this, because this is not programming. This is just how information is set across the web. And it's very useful to get this kind of information right and understand this kind of information. So you have two components over here. You have a key and then you have a value. So those are called key value pairs. And basically the key identifies what is the actual element that we are looking at and what is the actual value of that specific key. So if we see, for example, from email is the key, and then the key, the value of from email is test@getsmartlead.com. So in this way, you can easily identify what are the different keys and how you can use the different keys. Inside here, as you can see, there is a bunch of information, and what you can do is you can go into the documentation over here. So let's open this documentation again right now. And you can check for the event that you are interested in, and you can check the structure. So the structure is what are the different key value pairs that are present in each webhook. So this is the structure. Here there's also some definition of some events that are deprecated and not used anymore, such as here. But what they mention is to instead of using this, you can use event timestamp. So they propose an alternative to that. So here you have the structure. Here you have an example of a structure like the one that I showed you in the document. And then finally here you have a list of all the different elements that are present alongside a little bit of an explanation on that. So you can get a better understanding of what each of the different keys mean, and how you can use that within your actual automation itself. So let's come back over here and let's go forward with this. The next part related to this is the part related to the actual structure. So the structure is composed of two key elements over here. First off is the event type. So all the events that we saw right now, or the actual event that you would like to trigger. So as I mentioned, the examples are email send, email open, lead category updated, all those kind of different structures are present. And the second component here is the scope. So the scope of the webhooks mean where would you like the webhook to be applied, and which area applied the webhook. So here we have 3 different webhooks that are present right now within Smartlead. We have a campaign level webhook that only tracks a specific campaign. So if you, for example, apply a campaign level webhook and you say email bounced campaign level webhook, you will only get a message every time an email bounces on a specific campaign that you decide. Then we have client level webhook. So if you are using client features, you can track that specific client in the whole entirety. So every action that is related to campaign associated with that client, and every kind of action associated with that client. And finally, we have user level webhooks that tracks the whole account. So everything that happens in the account is tracked by the user level webhook. Now, there are a couple of important information to understand and a couple of important notes when actually deciding the webhook structure that you would like to use. Keep in mind this information is updated to June 2024, and these are the 2 key components that we have over here. First off, each scope has a different priority level, with user level webhook having the highest priority. So here are 2 examples, and it's better if I show those examples over here. If you set up a user level webhook, the campaign level webhook and the client level webhooks don't work correctly, because the user level webhook is the highest priority webhook that you could have. The same goes if we go further, if we go to the client level webhook. So if you set up a client level webhook, and you have campaigns, specific campaigns that you would like to check, the campaign level webhooks don't work correctly if you set up the system in this way. So you need to be aware of these kind of things when you actually set up the system. And when you set up a user level webhook, keep in mind that the previous one will not work. And this is key when you need to get all the flow of information. Because the problem that you might have is that you add multiple webhooks, multiple kinds of webhooks, and you don't understand why not all the data is sent through. But this is an example here. The second important thing here is that having webhook with the same scope, so having a webhook with the same client but different event types, can lead to data losses. So this is not related to the priority level, but this is related to the event that you choose to have within a webhook. So here, what we have is we have an example where we have a client level webhook for client A, where we track email reply, and then we have another client level webhook for the same client where we track another kind of event. What is happening here is that this structure will not work, and the only thing that will work will be the last webhook created. So in this instance, what will work is lead category changed, and email reply will work intermittently. So this is something really important to understand. The last part here is, and the correct way of structuring this is having one single client level webhook and then having multiple events tied to that specific webhook. And then what we will see right now is we will also see how to send different information across different areas using the automation platform of choice. So with that said, that's pretty much all the information right now. Now we get into the meat and we get into the actual setup of a webhook Smartlead. So there are two steps that we need to do over here. First one is creating the webhook URL. So where do we actually need to send the data? And the second part is creating the webhook within Smartlead. So let's go and do these two things right now. Okay, so what I did right now is I went over to make.com, which is an automation platform and the automation platform that we will use. And we will now set up the webhook inside make.com. So here, what I did basically is I opened a scenario and then I created a new scenario over here in Make. So this is a blank scenario and where you will start off. So the goal here is we need to actually create the webhook that we will use to send the information. So what we will do in Make is we will search for webhooks and then search for custom webhook. So this is triggered when a webhook receives data. What we do here is we add that webhook and then we call it Smartlead Webhook. So right now we will create a webhook like so. So this is simplest thing. Now you will have the webhook over here. The URL is this one, and this is what will be used. So what we need to do right now is we need to copy this to the clipboard, and then we are all set with the initial part. Now we need to go within Smartlead and create the actual webhook within Smartlead. So let's open Smartlead. I already have that open. What you need to do over here is you need to select the user, select settings, and then from settings you can go directly to webhooks. And here, if you go directly to webhooks, you can add a webhook. In this instance, as you can see, there's a user level webhook. So it would be not correct to add an additional webhook here, but we will do it in any case just for demonstration purposes. So what we will do here is in the webhook URL, we add the URL that we took from Make. So this is the URL that we add. And then here we add the webhook name. So name can be whatever name you want. Right now we just put testing Smartlead. And then here we can select the event type that we want to use. So if we want to use email bounce, for example, we can use that as an event type. One thing that we can also do is we can send a test to the webhook to see if the webhook is working correctly. So in order to do that, what we do is we enter make.com, we click on run. So right now the webhook is listening for data to receive. And if the webhook is listening, when we click send test to webhook, we will see if the event was sent successfully. This is a way of testing the webhooks and making sure that the data is sent. So as you can see over here, everything triggered correctly. And if we go over here, we can see the actual structure of an email bounce and how an email bounce could be. So this is a structure, and we can use this for our automations later on. So the last thing that we could do over here is if we want to add additional events such as lead category updated, for example, here we can add all the specific lead category that we want to add over here. And then we simply click on add to add this event, to add this webhook over here. Now, as I mentioned before, one important thing that will happen is that the setup should be something like the following, where you have a client level webhook or a user level webhook with multiple event types tied together. So the problem that we have right now is since we have this set it up with multiple event types, how do we separate the event types and how do we trigger different automation based on the actual event type? So I want to show you this within make.com, and we will do that within make.com as an example. So here we have the main webhook, and then what we can do is we can create an additional scenario over here. So let's create an additional scenario. So this could be an example of lead category updated. We will create a webhook. So here we will create a webhook, and this is Smartlead lead category updated. Okay, and here we will have an additional URL. Now you will see right now how this is actually used. So here we have the main webhook scenario that is sent through Smartlead, sorry. What we can do over here is we can create a router, and the router is basically a way to separate information across different different areas based on a specific logic. So here, for example, what we could do is we can separate this based on whether the event is an email bounce or the event is a lead category updated. So let's say this is event equal lead category updated. Then we define the condition. The condition here is simple because we can define that using the event type part of the webhook. So the event type is what defines the actual event. And so here what we can do is we can define the event type. So lead category updated would be the actual event type. Also, let me do a double check on this part. So everything is correct. So we go over here into the webhook guide, we check for event type, and it seems that this is correct. Let's do a copy paste over here. So make sure that everything is correct. Okay, so in this way you send an event that has lead category updated over here, and here you just send an email bounce, for example, event. So in this part, what you do is you set an event type to email bounce. Okay, and then in this way you differentiate the two information over here. What you can do then is you can trigger additional workflows. So let's say in this workflow we just have the workflow related to email bounce. What we can do here is we can send a request to the previous event that we created over here. So in this way, we can actually send this over here. We can send a post, and then we can send all the information that we collected over here in the initial webhook. So in this way, we can actually add all the different things which were present over here and send those over directly to the lead category updated webhook. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it on this side. Let me know if you have any questions or different parts. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something valuable, make sure to click like, comment and subscribe, and catch you soon in the next video. Bye bye.